Hello and welcome to episode 42. This week we reveal who won the battle between the two cybersecurity companies, CrowdStrike and Zscaler. We have a portfolio update and we battle two more stocks against each other with this week's theme of Greggs versus Spoons. Without further delay, let's get underway. Every week we invest £25 into each portfolio. One portfolio where you select the stocks, one that tracks the market, and one that generates income to pay to you. We'll then invest an extra £1 into each portfolio for every 100 subscribers we get. CrowdStrike took on Zscaler in last week's battle of the cybersecurity companies. I don't know about any of you, but I sometimes get emotionally attached, not even just to stocks, but to timings. And last year, when CrowdStrike caused some of that massive outage that particularly impacted aircrafts and airlines, and was a whole massive thing, and their share price plummeted, I was very tempted to jump in. But cooler heads prevailed at the time, and I realized that I knew nothing about the company, the industry, what the impact that would be. So didn't invest. But I've always kept an eye on it, and it's always held a soft space in my heart. So it was one of the natural companies to take a look at when I was comparing cybersecurity companies. However, yet again, more rational minds have prevailed, with the votes going in favor of Zscaler.
3, 2, 1, go.
Last week, although not quite as good as the week before, was a lovely green week. All three portfolios in the green, and the benchmark up as much as 1.3%. This week, however, not too bad, not too terrible, not too great either, a little bit middling. The benchmark up 1%, which, don't get me wrong, I will definitely take. However, the Battle Royale was down 0.2%. The fairly lukewarm week was reflected in our biggest movers. A few going up, a few going down. Unfortunately, however, there was a slight advantage to the ones going down. Not too much excitement when taking a look at this total return column. The usual suspects at the top these days. Let's highlight a few in the middle for fun. Microsoft up 18%. Definitely take that. Cirrus, a newish edition, is up 7.8%, which after a bit of a rocky start, I'm very happy to see. Adobe's costing us 6.2%. And First Solar, first week in, down a massive 12.2%. I can't believe it fell 12% in the first week. Well, fishing in puddles, you did warn me. And right at the bottom, the worst performer, Black Rifle Coffee, has cost us almost 50%. It's now, our £25 investment is down to £11.06. That is a bit shocking. All in all, that's 40 holdings now, 21 in the green and 19 in the red. The income generator is now making us £31.83 in annual dividends. That's up from £31.05 last week. The last dividend we received in July of £11.04 is going to be added to by our next dividend payment in September of £6.80. And in total, that means our next payout is going to be £17.84. I'm so sorry I lied to you last week. I got a bit excited and I thought we had invested 1,000, but it's only this week. It's now 1,000 in each of our three portfolios. Very excited. It's great you get to enjoy it twice. I'm excited about it again. And last week things were looking great in our portfolios, 6.1% up in the Battle Royale, 3% up in the benchmark. This week, still very happy, but not quite as good. The Battle Royale is up 5.4% after a little fall. The benchmark up 4.1%. So still looking good. And overall, that leaves us with the fantastic amount of £3,096, which having invested £3,000 is fantastic. Total returns of 4%, £120, and 75 in dividends every year. Lovely stuff.
3, 2, 1, fight.
It's a straight shootout between two British staples this week. Carbs, carbs, carbs is the theme of the day, and the only question is, do you prefer your carbs in pastry or pint size? It's Greggs versus Wetherspoons. Let me know what your preferences are. Let's take a look at the two. First up, we have Greggs, and for those who don't know, it's a company in the UK that specialises in fresh bakery products, sandwiches and drinks. It's traditionally quite cheap. They supposedly do a very good steak bake at a very reasonable price. It's previously had a huge amount of growth. That slowed down slightly, but the valuation is very tempting. Apparently 57.8% undervalued. Now, has that growth crawled to a halt? It looks a little bit like that. A little bit more investigation is required. Financial health, though, it's a pretty healthy company. Assets far exceeding liabilities, which is always good to see. Earnings have grown by 28% over the last 5 years. However, there are a few little risk matters to be conscious of as well. They do pay a dividend. It's 4%, so that is quite a nice cushion if you're worried about the growth. So not a straightforward option. Let's compare that to JD Wetherspoon, also a UK company. And for those of you who don't know, they similarly focus on the budget side, I would say, but they open pubs and hotels and in Ireland as well as the UK, actually. And they have very interesting buildings. They're always quite nice from the outside, but again, it is focused on value. Now, it's also the value of the stock is undervalued, 29%. That is dwarfed by Greg's valuation, both good options. However, if we look at the future growth of Wetherspoons, it's got a little bit more going on, allegedly. So that is what attracted me to this, and the choice between the two is going to be a difficult one. The dividends are also a little bit lower, 1%, and it's buying back quite a few of its stocks, which is nice to see as well. Financial health was the last thing I wanted to show you, and like Greg's, it's looking pretty good. Nothing too impressive, but nothing too concerning either. So two good English companies or UK companies, and they're a little bit different. One's good value, one's got a little bit more growth. It's a bit of a toss-up, and I'm not sure which to choose. Please help. So there we have it. It's pints versus pastries. Which is your preference? Pop a thumbs up next to the company that you prefer in the comments, and that's the one we will invest in. However, my vote's going to go to... I hope you've all been enjoying the heat wave, looking after yourselves out there, but trying to enjoy it mainly because it doesn't happen that often in the UK. I hope you have a fantastic week ahead. Thank you for being here. See you next week, same time, same place.
Goodbye.